Next up, I believe we have Apex is coming up to do their presentation. Another guy who's super passionate about the mobile industry, the mobile stage industry. Um, Jeff Hess and Jay Waller. I have so many names in my head. I was like, they obviously been doing this for quite a while. And the first question I have is, how many Apex stages are out there?
Roughly 130. No, I beg your pardon. 175. I was thinking just the 3224, but all of them, the 5040s, the 4240s, 2420s, 3224s, 2016s, we're pushing, we're just south of 200. This is since what, Jay? 01, 02, 03?
No, the first Apex was May of 05. May of 05. That was the 5040. Then we went into the 32, 2432. Our first size was kind of a hybrid, was 8, I think it was. Todd, is that right? Wasn't that 8? What, the first, yeah.
24, 24s.
So, coming to the trade show, you always try to show the new thing. One of the things that we're kind of pushing right now on the Apex line, we've got a 2424 down there, and just a little quick background on that. We produced a 2420 that kind of fit in the marketplace, in, you know, matching up with some of our competitors and that sort of thing. It's a good thing. Competition is a great thing. It's good for the market. They, you know, there was another version there, and then, you know, we back and forth. We decided that the 2424 was the next point there, because the 3224 was already a built and proven item, and we have more tied up in a 2424 than it would have if we'd have built from scratch. But since all the parts, the engineering, everything already existed, the easiest way to improve on the 24-foot platform was just chop 8 feet out of a 32. The same parts, same inventory, same, you know, stock on the shelves. And that allowed us to do a handful of things. Like with that format, with the 24-foot format, we could make an option on that to use it as a mixed position. And that then gave us a ceiling height on that platform so that the roof of it would be tall enough to where you could actually use it as a mixed position and use either remote lighting or spot chairs and spots underneath the roof, and still keep what I'll call bulb height, the height of your spotlight, at a reasonable height, and go back and forth like day by day. The stage could deploy one day as a stage, next day as a mixed position. But what we're actually trying to show people here today, and I think our big speech really is geared around, is kits, options. Since we now have in the 130-ish range of the 3224 out there, and we're 2008, so we're into the 13 years now, somewhere in that range, 12. Lots of things change. Every 3 to 4 years, the IBC code changes. And then we have to go back to engineering and get stamps upgraded, things like that. And the market has changed. When we first designed that stage, nobody at this level was hanging video walls, right? Now here we are 12, 13 years later, and that's all we hear. How do I hang video wall? How do I hang video wall? And so as a mission, we had a meeting at this, and we said we will not be like Ford or Apple or Dell, right? Where every 2 or 3 years you got a whole new product line and everything you bought before is obsolete. The mission was that we were going to come up with upgrade kits. And we've had a couple of people say, "Oh, geez, what all these kits? Why do I buy?" Well, we could just let your stage go obsolete and you got to buy a new one. But no, what we wanted to do is support the people that bought from us. All these different kits are retrofittable all the way back to unit number 7. And again, just like yesterday when I mentioned this, I see a smile coming. There's a guy here that owns one of the first 6. They were kind of hybrids and prototypes. And sorry, Tom, the kit doesn't fit that stage. But anyway,
he's not making any money off of it, is he?
Yeah, no, he hadn't paid for it yet. But so the point is, we've got in order to comply with some of the new codes that are coming out and the new market demands for hanging of speakers and primarily video walls, if you visit the stage, you'll see some of the kits are actually fine-tuned already, and we've actually been selling them for a little bit. A couple of them are, this is very prototype, first version, right? But what we've done is we've made it so on the upstage, we've got a kit that you can put on it, very simple, and it can raise your beam capacity on the back to like 1,800 pounds, so it'll handle a video wall, or like even a 16 by 9, and still have capacity for some lighting. We've got a beam extension for the front fly bays that will allow you to, let's say in a perfect world you would fly like a 9 feet wide portrait mode screen and fly your PA out in front, all from off the front edge. We've got a stabilizer kit that allows you, when you get up high or on a hill where you're on a big angle, to really keep the floor real solid, because we'd have that original stage. If you got it up 5-6 feet in the air and on a hill, it could wiggle. You could feel it. So basically, all these kits are something that we can put on a pallet and ship to you. You can install yourselves. Worst case scenario, you have to drill a few holes because you're going to have to bolt something in place. That's really the main thing we're showing here. So we're trying to make sure everybody understands that we're supporting all of our dealers all the way back. It's a support network at Apex. When Joe from Idaho sends an email to the factory and says, I'm looking for a rental, Jeff puts him in contact with all the dealers in a radius of that area. Okay, you need help on hanging your video wall, something like that. We're making kits to bring your stage you might have bought 10 years ago up to current standards. Okay, that's kind of mainly our purpose, right?
Side note, I was late to this because I was on the phone with a guy in Portland who needs a 32, so all you guys in my Portland region, get with me after, okay? And then being serious about that. But yeah, that's the thing we take a great deal of pride in, is the fact that, we're trying to think of the best way to negotiate the evolutions of the industry while not making our past customers obsolete. If you bought a 3224 from us in 2012, we want you to know that you can do, by and large, everything with it that a guy buying a new one today can. Now, that's not across the board. There's something. The Model T didn't have cup holders. It's evolution. But by and large, we don't want you to think that if I've got an older 32, that I'm not going to be able to make as much money as a guy who's buying a new one. So. Yeah, that's kind of what, all the stuff that we're putting on that 24 down there is, most of it is in its infancy. I mean, that's why we wanted our 3224 owners and our future customers to know that, we can't be left behind. If you don't evolve, you die. So, and that's what these retrofittable assemblies are going to help us achieve, we think. Is that right, Jay? Yeah. So, yeah.
Now, on a technical side of these kits, to kind of follow the pattern here, the verbiage in engineering has changed over the years. And so as part of this, all the engineering for the 3224 is being upgraded now, and that is a retrofittable, that's not the right word, engineering also. So when you hear some of the different engineering that you see from different companies will say things like, this stage will resist this, or this, there's different ways that's worded. And the new version of our engineering will comply, I guess, or conform more with those standards, right? The new engineering will be out within a couple weeks. I saw the preliminary of it last Friday. And we will address like the 90 mile an hour, 3-second burst. We will address what the IBC code will say. Your unit is rated at this. Well, IBC code is a 2-to-1 safety factor. So if it says your wind rating is 10, that means in the computer model, your yield or fail was a 20. And we will address that, and we will give you that. And what we're trying to call that is an asset protection level. So Yeah, if you're in other words, if your wind rating is, your high wind action plan is pretty much boilerplate for everybody, says, evacuate at 40, and your printout will say, okay, your stage has this rating, but you have resistance, or okay, in the computer model, your rating is twice that, which means this stage failed in the computer modeling at, if it said 50 was your rating, that means at 100 mile an hour is when it showed a yield. I'm calling an asset protection rating because really everybody's left the venue at that point. This is now about you and your insurance company knowing what your unit is capable of when you get back to the site.
We want you to go home and lay your head on the pillow and know that your stage is going to still be there and intact the next day.
Right, and we've kind of dropped the ball a little bit and not having our verbiage correct there, right? So we're addressing that. So we could sit here and start talking about all the different kits. That's kind of difficult to do without seeing them. Honestly, at some point, if it quits raining or even tomorrow morning, just come over and hit us up and we can walk through the different kits item by item. That's kind of hard to do abstractly like this. The other thing that today is supposed to be, I think we were supposed to have a big fireworks show. There's supposed to be a marching band, all these things, and they all got put off because of the rain. We're making an announcement. Okay. Apex stages in the earlier days had a lot. We were building quite a few of large format units, the 40s and 50-foot stages. When we came out with the 3224, it got so popular. I'm just telling you, this is just how it is. This is just truth. Okay. We were back ordered on 3224s starting in 2011, and we still are. Okay. At the factory, Todd and his dad, prior, built a wing onto the factory just to increase capacity. That didn't solve it. Back order still because so many sales. Then Todd just built another, right pre-COVID, another building across the airport that's like 40,000 square feet and 40-foot ceilings, right? It's a big one. And that's Apex. What used to be the Apex building is now doing the Astra stuff. But the point is, we did not ever get out of the big stage market. We just couldn't get to one because in order to build you a large stage, it would shut down production line on a 32. That wasn't fair to the guys that had already gotten in queue. So we just kind of couldn't do it, right? We are coming out with the Apex 5040 Gen 3. It will be, if I say it, then Todd will roll his eyes and Jeff will roll his eyes. The target is June. The pressure's on. It's technically booked in for a few dates late July. But anyway.
Tom, where are you?
Yeah,
there he is.
Right. Right. Okay. So the first two of those units are already spoken for. I'm taking the first one. Tom in Miami's taking the second one.
I'm taking the first one when he's not using it.
Until the second one's built. We're playing together. Anyway, once that is completed, just so everybody knows, the 4240, which has been a popular model for the last, 4 years now? 5? Okay. There will be the next 4240 coming offline will now use the mast system of the new 5040 design. So the 4240 at that point will go to Gen 2, which will then have a trim height of 30 feet. So that'll be a 5-foot increase in trim height. The new 5040 Gen 3, that's what we're here to announce. And there's the fireworks and the marching band and yay, right? Okay. This unit, we'll talk just briefly about it. We do have the preliminary spec sheet available on that. It's all subject to change until engineering, and engineering doesn't sign off on final prints until the first unit is done and built. Little brackets and things that get changed along the way all have to be reviewed at the end, right? So it's a completely new mast system, what raises the main mast left and right. The pictures that we're giving out are showing, don't detail it much because it's patent applied for, and we aren't really quite ready to show the pictures to everybody on that, but it is, we have video of it. It goes up and it goes down and everything's going great. We're really excited about it, but until Todd gets the patent approval pending thing back, we keep our pictures a little blurry in that area. But the big features of this unit, in hydraulic stages, you have all pretty much, I would say all of them. You have your beams, let's just say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, front to back. You end up with dead zones that you can't hang in certain areas, or it's very difficult. This one has a concept of the spanner beam system that is consistent from upstage to downstage 4 times. So that means you can hang lighting truss, video wall, whatever, at any point front to back stage. There's no dead zones anymore, okay? There's also a sub-spanner system that you can link between the spanner beams, and there will be a chart, so like a spreadsheet, Excel spreadsheet that'll be divided into 1-foot increments. And as a customer, we can send it to him, and he can click a box and say 900. Click this box, 600. He can plot his points. The calculator will figure it all out. Something will turn red if he's overloaded it. And that tells you what spanner beams to take to your gig and where to put them, right? The capacity on this stage, each beam, there's only 4 main beams now. Each one is at 12,500 per beam. The front, you can pull the speaker wing out like 8 feet. No big deal, just hang an array on it. Or it'll deploy at 21 foot out. And at 21 foot out, 6,000 pound rating for a video wall, right? On the upstage, the same beam, same configuration, because Apex stages are always made to go either direction. Leave those beams inside, and now that raises that back beam to 16,000 pound capacity, which basically, by the time we're done, we're in the 55, some range over the stage, around 71,000, I think it is, total capacity. The key, though, is this is a 50-40. The target is, for those of you who know Apex, the one thing that we do well, we do more than one thing well, but the one is quick deployment. The 50-40 current model can deploy in an hour and a half. And that's, now when you start adding the wall systems and work wings, that's all on top of that. This one can be bought and go out as one semi-trailer at legal weight and still deploy in that hour and a half, 2 hour range, just like any other Apex has in the past. But then you take a second trailer with your work wings, your side canopies, and you can buy that trailer from us, and it'll be a 53-foot flat trailer with hydraulic leveling, so you can use it as a thrust or as a loading dock. But when you add those things and bring some extra components into play, it now is in like a 6 hour build with capacities in that 70,000 pound range. So it still has the ability to go out and just do the basic county fair, quick deployment without all those extras, right? That was the hoopla, and I'm sorry we can't do it over there and show you some more kits, but I think
We'll have time.
we'll have time.
Yeah.
Oh, geez, we
Questions,
talked too fast.
concerns, comments? We've already been on too long. I do want to say that I want to express appreciation again to Mike and his crew for all of this, and I want to thank all my Apex associates and family members for coming down and seeing us. And you know, look, I don't keep secrets. Everybody knows this. Our dance card for 2022 is full. I mean, and I'm optimistic that Michelle and Pierre and they would all say the same thing. You know, I mean, if we could build 2 of them a week, we could sell them. But we all know that that's not realistic. But we're encouraged and we're grateful for people keeping a positive mental attitude, certainly during 2021. And you know, people will say, "Oh, wow, congratulations, that's great." And I say, "Well, yeah, but I, you know, wish we could help more people out. You know, wish we could make them faster." But we're very grateful for the way things have grown and the way things have bounced back. And are there any questions or concerns that we can address with you guys? Cool. Thank you.
So if we don't get any questions, does that mean we did really good or no one cares? What does that mean? Huh?
All right. Yeah, the rain kind of puts us back with those demos. We don't really want everybody out there in the rain and the cold, but we'll definitely get some demo time in for sure. That'll probably happen later on, but we do have that opportunity. I think it's going to clear up. So by the time